Hello, everyone. We're live, and this is going to be, I don't know, we're just going to talk about stuff and not do a lot of promoting, except for Eric. He's going to be promoting his book. That's the important. That's why we're here, really. But we also
reason I showed up.
Yeah, he never comes on my streams otherwise. Let's face it. No, just teasing. And then we also have your boy Zach here. Zach, great too. Is it Zach or your boy Zach? What do you prefer?
Zach is fine.
Okay. I just feel it feels empty when I don't have the you boy in there. So cool. We were talking a little bit beforehand about the fact that Joe Rogan mentioned you in his podcast. Is that weird to you? Like, to me, like, I watch your videos and you seem like a really normal dude. You know what I mean? And then it's kind of weird. Like, it's like a collision of worlds. Does it feel like that to you, or is it kind of like
No,
normal?
he invited me on the show like 2 years ago. And
Yeah.
then I said I couldn't do it because I was apartment shopping. And then I got a new apartment, and a couple weeks later I hit him back and he never responded. He was probably like, what the hell is this? They're turning me down to go apartment shopping.
Yeah.
So, but he's aware of the story. He remembered it because he mentioned that. But
Right.
yeah, so there's a comedian on, and he was talking. I think I haven't watched the thing. I just saw the little snippet. But I think they were talking about cancel culture and in general, and using me as an example. And then they showed him Safe Space and Snowflake, and any normie just has the record scratch sound effect when they see that. They always think it's a fake, like it's a work. They're like, no, it's not a Marvel comic.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the old Saturday Night Live where they do the we've replaced your regular with Folgers Crystals? It's Chris Farley,
and
he
like,
starts
how dare you?
freaking out. Like, it's like, this is a Marvel comic. They're like, no.
Yeah, that's a good. It's true. And the funny thing is too is like seeing the reaction from SJWs when they saw that. They thought it was like a Comicsgate book or like
so SJWs got offended. They're like, they're making fun of us. And they're like, no, you're making fun of yourself.
Yeah, it killed me.
And that was the last. That was Marvel Comics falling into the La Brea tar pits. That was their final act. It wasn't Jonathan Hickman's X-Men. Their final act was Safe Space and Snowflake.
That's true.
That is now their legacy.
Right.
That's what anyone's talking about. The entire Jonathan Hickman run has been forgotten.
Yeah, but it was followed very quickly on the heels by that X-Men sidekick thing.
Yeah, that one. I mean, if it wasn't for Safe Space and Snowflake, that would have been a pretty big story already.
Yeah.
But just people keep going back to the onesie and then calling that guy a typical jock. The best part of the Rogan show was they do like a picture in a picture, and they're showing him, on a big screen. But then you're seeing that little hesitation where it goes up on the screen, and you can see it get into his brain, like, no, what? And then it's like, what the hell is this?
I hate to say it, but I thought the best bit on the Rogan show, that same episode, was where they were talking about the brawny towels and how one lumberjack, and then they had 3 women lumberjacks. So it takes 3 women to do the same work as a male lumberjack.
So 70. I have a joke. It's going to get in trouble. 70 cents on the dollar is overpaying. Then is that put up pump?
Yeah. 3 times gets equal pay.
Right. Yeah. I didn't need meaning to watch the whole thing. I haven't. But one of the terms that the guy, his guest mentioned, I forget his name, was the fiefdom of Portland weirdos. That control. That was good. Yeah.
That's so much better than Portland Comics Mafia.
Yeah.
Fiefdom of Portland weirdos. But so I don't know about what you all, but we're opening up on Friday. Texas is
Texas. Yeah, I'm in San Antonio right now. It's I'll be honest with you. I was walking on the Riverwalk in San Antonio here on what was it, Sunday, and man, everybody was walking around. Maybe 1 in 20 had a mask on, and the cops weren't wearing masks. And the only way that you knew that it was all shut down was all the stuff by the Alamo was all boarded up.
Yeah, I've been going to the park every day, for my hour in the yard. And as soon as Governor Abbott announced it, then the local city goes, but it's still in effect until Friday. What the hell? It was families having picnics. Everything was back to normal, 1 hour later.
Yeah.
We're opening up on Sunday apparently, and we've already started. We went out over the weekend to friends' houses, in defiance of who cares? But we went out anyway, so we're ready. And I've got a wedding to go to on the day before it opens up. The best man at a wedding, and that's going to be interesting because it's just going to be wedding party.
Wow.
What state?
Kansas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You guys know Utah never actually mandatory. We never had a mandatory shutdown.
That's because you guys had 3 cases.
Well, we've had a couple thousand cases, but yeah, it hasn't been. I mean, people are working from home. It's all voluntary, but still, I don't know. I was thinking about it. It's a very Americans, and I saw people speculating this about on the news, culturally, wearing masks, and it's just not going to last very long. You know what I mean? There's so much. It's hard. So
I refused to buy one until the lockdown, and then I couldn't buy one because I couldn't get into any of the stores.
Yeah.
So then somebody sent me a couple, and I hate wearing it. And it's I only had 3, and for some reason, the first time I wore it, as soon as I got out of the store, I just instinctively threw it into the trash. The second I got outside, what did I do? I only got 2 left now.
Yeah.
I did the exact same thing. I had a pack of 5 of the paper ones that, the paper mask with the little nose adjuster. And as soon as I took the first off, I just immediately threw it away. I was like, oh, fuck. I still have another store I got to go to now. So I had to go back and get another one.
Well, they're we need to hand make some, my wife made one, and she's out more than I am, but I just can't wear it. I just go without. I just try not to breathe if I'm next to people.
Exactly right.
But it's hard once you're out. I went to the Home Depot. It's really hard to even. I just go right into normal life, So I don't know. We'll see. But at the same time, it's I feel bad for comic shops, a lot of businesses, but comic shops in particular, because it's you had no choice in the matter, and your business is closed. You're shut down. So I don't know. You guys see that the Boom Studios announcement, or the video from Boom Studios about?
Dude, I got part of it memorized.
Oh, yeah.
In ancient Greece, it was the agora.
Yeah, I was waiting.
They told me that I missed the ultimate roast because they're this guy is Hank Scorpio from The Simpsons. I was like, oh my gosh, Hank Scorpio.
Yeah, it was so. It started out being super zen, and then I found out that the only selling point he had is community. What you're selling is community. And if that's it, I'm actually kind of worried because you could get that so many other places, The
irony is that even when I was going to my local comic store back when I was a kid in the 80s, or whether it was when I was in college and I had an actual comic shop in college that I would go to on a 3 times a week basis, I still never had as many friends and has talked about as much comics as I do now on, in what we're doing here in Comicsgate.
Yeah.
What are you guys talking about with Boom? I'm out of the loop.
So I don't know if he's the CEO. The guy running Boom, he posted this video.
Dictator of Boom, I think.
Yeah, Dictator. That's the official thing. He posted a video. I'll share my screen. It looks like Zach is gone.
Zach, yeah.
Yep. So here it is. This is Boom. I'm just going to show you an image.
Oh, you know what? I saw this image. I didn't watch the video.
Yeah. And like, I think it's coming from a good place. Like, I'm not trying to be too cynical, but it was like, first off, it just looks so zen that I didn't expect this to be about comic book shops or comics at all. I expected it to be like, I don't know, like some kind of like sales pitch or something. I don't know. Or like a timeshare, so it's trying to sell you a timeshare. But it was like, hey, comic book shops, there's hope. Things are going to open up. Everything's going to be normal again, because the one thing that you're selling is community. And it's not about the internet or anything, because you're selling community. And I don't know, it just kind of got me like,
No. Starbucks sells community.
there's so many places where you can get community.
Yeah, where everybody knows your name.
I just want somebody to start like goofing, like their store opens back up, and
but I can't hear Clint.
Oh, you can't hear me, Charlie?
Yeah, we can hear you, Zach. I think Charlie's trying to come in.
So yeah, we got.
Oh,
Zach
I can't hear
here,
Zach or Clint.
Charlie Snowgin.
I'll go off and come back in.
Okay, we'll get that worked out.
Yeah, I heard you there.
So I got a question. Have you guys been paying attention to international mail?
You
yeah, I noticed something happened last year. Why? What's up?
Well, I got an email from a backer that said, hey, I ordered they backed a book on the 17th, and it's still listed as pre-shipment. And so I did a little digging, and I found out that international mail is currently on hold.
Was that? Well, I don't think it's that all countries.
Yeah,
what
I think it's country by country. Yeah.
I heard Australia. Australia, I heard that.
I heard India was turned off. A couple other places in the MENA area.
Everything. I'll put the link in the chat for you to bring up, Clint.
Oh, you have a official.
Yeah, it's from USPS. International service disruptions and suspensions and unavailability. I mean, there are hundreds of countries listed here.
Wow.
So,
yeah,
I don't know if this is new or not, but it's got dates from like a month ago. So,
I mean, I haven't ordered anything internationally, or I don't know. Yeah. Huh. That's not good. I hope that doesn't last very long.
Because I noticed that all of my international books were still pending, still pre-shipment. So I don't know what's going on. I haven't had a chance to dig into it. I just found out about 10 minutes ago.
So I got to wonder if that's like, we're trying to stop the virus. I thought you couldn't get it on packages, or it would just.
They should just run it through some UV light and call it a day.
Yeah, you leave it out on the porch for a day.
Yeah, amen.
Yeah, but or if it's something else,
my
if
kids.
it has to do, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. That's rough, man. You're fulfilling soon too, aren't you?
I'm done. Like,
you are finished.
It's in demand, so I'm just getting drips and drops. And we had a bunch of stuff we packed today, and now we're thinking, like, I don't know what to do. Do we just hold on to it? Do we wait? I don't know. I'll let other people figure it out, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Zach, you tell us what to do. No, I don't know, man. Shipping's tough enough. I was thinking right now, because even shipment time, things that I've ordered, I don't actually get tracking information, like even domestic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that was just me, but I don't know. There's been a lot of problems, I guess, all around. Okay, here's the link. Let's open this up.
Hopefully, by the time I get back to El Paso, Clint, I'll have all kinds of shipping questions for you.
How'd your quarantine go, Scott?
Well, sitting in a FEMA camp in the middle of the New Mexico desert is not fun. I can tell you that. Okay. I can tell you the internet ain't great out there either.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that when you get bored, you'll just sit in bed and watch movies all day long, if that's all you had to do. So that's what I can tell you about quarantine.
Oh,
well, the shitty thing is that I did quarantine for 2 weeks. I got a week with my family, and then they shipped me back out I'm here in San Antonio now. And so when I go back to El Paso, I have to do 2 more weeks in quarantine. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this list, and I don't know that, like, the big one I'm looking for is the UK, because I know, just for me personally, that's a country that has.
Scroll down, or just Control F. Scroll right down to the bottom. There's this whole list And again, I've only really glanced at this, but you can like click on a country and get their info. And I don't know if the UK is on. Yeah, there they are. United Kingdom.
Of Global Express Guaranteed Services. So
Is that a certain kind of shipping thing?
I would think so. Express Guaranteed.
Okay, because I had a backer from Sweden. Let me find it.
I mean, obviously, this is a lot of. There are a lot of countries, but
yeah. So
yeah,
we would be shipping priority mail to Sweden, and it said here, due to airline travel restrictions and cancellations, the U.S. Postal Service has temporarily suspended the guarantee on Priority Mail Express International destined to Sweden. Its suspension will be in effect until further notice. So, you know, I don't know. I don't know what to do with this info, especially since I got a campaign launching in like 2 weeks.
Is it like a time guarantee mail that is suspended, or is it all service? Because it sounded like just the guarantee is suspended.
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff to read through.
So Sweden, it says, is only sending things within the European Union, with the exception of Cyprus and Malta. I don't know.
But it
why.
says it also can send mail to Canada, Hong Kong, and listed a bunch of stuff, including the United States. I don't know.
Huh.
Like I said, I haven't had a chance to dig deep into this. But
interesting. And
somebody should investigate. Somebody that's not getting ready to launch a campaign.
I don't know, man. This postal service stuff is so confusing. I've got people outside of the stream again. Here we go.
Oh no.
I'm on the outside. Now I'm in. I thought you guys said we were having fun. What is this postal service?
I know.
This isn't fun. You don't like to talk about sending letters to grandma?
It's the postal
No way. No way. How you guys doing? Oh, hey, Charlie. Hey, Scott.
Hey,
good to see you guys.
Charlie,
what's up, buddy?
Can you hear
me?
Look
at Charlie in his dark castle making art.
I can hear Clint, but I couldn't hear Eric before.
Can you hear me now?
Nothing.
That
was nothing.
I'm not hearing.
Hello, Charlie.
Why would I hear everybody but Eric?
Okay, so we had the same exact problem on the. I streamed on Alterna's channel last night.
Yeah.
Same exact problem, and the only way we solved it is it was like leapfrog. So then Eric would get out and get back in, and then we'll see if anybody else has a problem.
And there he goes.
So he'll come out and get back in. We'll see what's going on. It looks like we lost Zach too.
Hey, Vaughn, I heard you did a little voice work lately for a CG video.
There was a CG video, Tales from the Classroom.
Yeah. So I saw that on Mandy's stream earlier. It looked pretty interesting. That it's pretty funny.
Yeah, I kept trying to help him with it. He was like, he's come to me for a lot of advice. Rob is great, by the way. And I kept going, do this. And I think I helped him with his script for the video. And then I told him what kind of voice, or he had a voice actor, and the voice actor just kept cheesing it up. They didn't do a good job. It was someone off Fiverr, right? Yeah. And I said, dude, I'll just do it. And if you don't like it, I won't get offended. Just don't use it. It's fine. And so I just did like a little Michael J. Fox impression. It was like, hey guys, how's it going? And I did the awkward zombie teenager voice that I thought should be, and he went with it. So
no, it was good, man. It sounded kind of familiar, but then at the end he said that you had done the voice work on that, and I was like, man, that's solid.
Yeah, thanks, man. Busted. Yeah, I was thinking about doing more voice work for people if they want it. They'd be fun.
Yeah.
Why not?
For Battle Brick Road.
You got the gift, man.
Battle Brick Road.
Hey, can you hear me now, Charlie?
Yes, I can hear you, Battle Brick Road.
Excellent.
And it looks good, and I can see it and everything too. What is Comicscape for the classroom? What is Comicscape for the classroom?
Tales from the Classroom, I think, is what it's called.
Yeah.
Oh yes, Tales from the Classroom. It's an awesome little horror story about a zombie kid who has to leave his school and go into a school that's no longer just him and his zombie brethren. It's him and a bunch of monsters like werewolves and vampires, and they look down on zombies as like the lesser monsters. So it's a tale of his struggle being an outcast. He was the hot popular kid in zombie school. And now he's like a piece of crap. So it's awesome. Yeah, it's funny.
if you keep eating brains, it's not going to work out. You know?
Yeah, it's a faux pas at a party.
Yeah. I've read the first chapter, so I know there actually are the brain eating that's in it. Consumption of brains is in the story, so yeah, it's a component.
Trigger warning.
yeah, trigger warning. He's a good guy. Rob, right? Yeah, he's a good guy.
Rob Muerta.
Yeah, good last name.
He was just on with Pete, with publisher Pete on Alterna's channel.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he had the open mic tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Trademark violation there, buddy. All right. I don't know. We'll take it. Yeah. So Charlie, what are you working on? You're a busy man.
I am. Well, I showed you that one page that we talked about a while back, and as I looked at it, I said, "This is too squeezed in for one page," and I started to think, This could be 3 pages. What am I trying to squish things into one page for?" And as I started to spread out, everything went wrong, and then I started to color it, and I realized I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah.
Don't you love that feeling?
It looked good to me.
Oh man! Every once in a while, you think I am killing it, and then everything goes wrong, and you think, "What was I thinking?"
Yeah, that's the nature of the business, unfortunately.
Every day.
So skill intensive, every little aspect of it too. Like I'm impressed enough that you can draw everything in inked. I guess it's digital, but to me it's like drawn and inked and then do colors. The plan is not for you to do the colors for the whole book though, because you'd probably lose more hair that you don't already have. So
I'll do whatever it takes. Listen, there's none left to even lose. At this point, I'll be losing fringe.
Yeah,
you're pulling out your beard hair.
Right.
I'm out of fringe. So So normally I would just be doing it in grayscale, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, Eric, do you work digitally?
Not exclusively, but yes.
So you can. What do you use when you make the lettering?
Not exclusively. I'm getting an echo. I letter in Adobe Illustrator.
Okay.
That way it's crisp.
Yeah. Back to
do you
basics.
actually with your hand letter, or do you just type in a font?
No, I don't even type. I'm lazy. I copy paste.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's
smarter,
how you get a full 22 to 24 page comic done in a day.
That way no one can blame the typos on you.
Yeah, exactly. Now sometimes I do have to type it out. Like I deal with a lot of first timers, first time ever making any kind of comic, and I get some people that'll send me like screenshots of their script instead of editable text and things like that. And Zach sends his script through email, so it's just the email text. Some people get PDF. PDFs are weird because they don't highlight the text doesn't highlight properly. Like it doesn't want to grab the period on the end, and then sometimes it does.
So like a Word file's ideal.
I prefer Word file, but I'll take whatever I can get. Like with Cyberfrog, I have to just copy the words that are there, so I had to type it all out.
I think I'll start sending you text documents then.
Oh, that's probably a good idea.
Guys, I got something kind of cool today. I got Through the Woods today.
I'm waiting on mine still.
And it's beautiful, but he gave me a bonus with it just for me. I thought it was kind of amazing. This is a Wolfman print, and it's signed.
Oh, that's
cool. I lucked out, man. This is beautiful. So
does Wolfman have nards?
Dude, Wolfman's got nards. I mean, look at this guy.
You can't see it. It's too shiny.
I know. It's everything that comes from Vinny is glossy as all hell, man. He's the gloss master too, as well as the Boner King.
Nice.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff.
It's cool. Yeah, I was trying to think like, what books am I going to be getting next? I've got so many in the pipeline that I've backed, but I'm not even sure. I've lost track. I should probably.
I've completely lost track. I mean, I could be like 6 months late on a book, and I wouldn't know it because I've forgotten.
Right. Yeah.
The only ones I know.
How many are you working on, Scott?
through the woods.
Oh, you're talking about the books that I'm actually working on. So I've got the 2 right now. I've got Door Kickers and Peregrine, but I'm talking about the ones that I've backed. I mean, it's kind of like once I back it, I just totally forget about it, and I'm surprised one day when it comes in. And sometimes I think about 4 or 5 months ago, I looked at my backer list just because I wanted to see if I'd back something before I bought it, and I hadn't. And there was stuff on there that I didn't even remember backing, and it was just like, if I get it, that's great. If I don't, well, it's just the way it is, the way it goes.
I'm expecting to get everything, but I don't know. Like, I really haven't. If there was anything I was genuinely worried about, I wouldn't have backed. But
I figure this way: I'm going to get so much value on the executive box set from Cyberfrog Wreck Planet that it will more than make up for any drop books that I had from any other campaign. I just can't believe how much I'm going to get for $200 for that thing.
It's going to be
awesome,
cram full. Yeah. Oh, we got a super chat. Thank you. This is from View of Uranus. Or no, okay. All right.
Uranus.
So, Uranus. All right. Hey Vaughn, you have a Raringo influence, and you have a page rate.
I don't know the Raringo, but I will look it up. Look him or her up.
Mike Raringo
is an
okay.
This would be, you probably remember this, Vaughn, but Mike Miller, this was the controversy surrounding Mike Miller.
The Spider-Man page?
Yes, that one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, and so that artist who passed, and then he inked over his work?
Yeah. That's Mike Raringo. That's the first time I'd heard of him, I'll be honest.
I wish I knew more about him. I should study up, because he sounds like a fabulous artist and well respected and everything. Yeah. My page rate, it depends. If I work with Comics Gators, I try to give people a little money off and make them happy. But lately it's $60 a page for my writing. And I'll make your story better too, and whatever, to polish it to perfection. So, and
what are you, the ringer? Do they bring you as the ringer? You come in as the ringer and ship everything up?
So far I have been script doctoring. Like for Lady Alchemy, I came in and used an outline that she had made and refined that, and then wrote the script on that. And I was like, hey, I could do this and this to make it better. And she was like, cool, roll with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can call me the ringer.
Vaughn's an excellent writer. Yeah, he helped me too a little bit with. I was like, I need an extra pair of eyes on this, so it's been good. Good to have some feedback. Yeah, I dig it. Ron's good people, but the way that he worded this sounds like he's wanting to hire you as an artist.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, while I love to draw and I dream of drawing my own comic, my time is limited, so I'm a writer. I'm just pure writing.
Yeah. That is fair. Yeah, that's the thing is I thought, man, I'd love to do my own book. I don't know how there's no way I could do it unless I quit my day job. I think that'd be the only way.
Yes.
And even then it'd be like, you have to know you're getting paid. So I don't know, man. Comics is a tough business. Here's another super chat from Uncanny Z. Thank you very much for $5. It says, do you guys think thought balloons would ever be accepted by modern readers? I think you could.
Do they not accept them right now?
It's not my thing. I've got something against them. I don't like thought balloons.
I think with the right story, people are willing to handle the cloud floating above a head. Yeah.
Wait, are they out of fashion? A thought balloon?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So pretty much like the early 90s is really when they started going out of fashion. And I only found this out, within the last year or so, because I was thinking about using thought balloons. But now it's all caption for interior monologue. Now. It's all caps.
Yeah. I've done a few books with thought balloons, but they aren't here. They aren't around. Yeah. I don't see why the audience. Honestly, I think the reason it fell out of fashion is because it's hard. It takes time to make a thought balloon digitally.
I just think it looks cleaner to have a caption.
It does look cleaner. I honestly think it might boil down to the letterer's decision ultimately, because it's so much. Make a box and you're good to go.
It's not just that. With the captions, you get to do something. You can be creative with them so they fit the tone or the aesthetic of the story.
character.
A thought
Yeah.
balloon is always just a thought balloon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can give that interior, the thoughts of the character, but you can do it from, say, like a third person, omniscient or something like that. So
you don't
it's a
have to
little
have
more
the character
literary
on,
in a way, yeah.
yeah, you don't have to have the character in panel. And it can weave between thoughts or narration or whatever. It's way more versatile to have captions.
Thought balloon has a different feel to it whenever you write for one too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's different than captions. Captions you can be more poetic with and you can make the captions like, for instance, put it over an image to where it's like has a cool meaning or something. And thought balloons are just kind of, I hope he doesn't do this. You know what I mean?
In the moment.
In the moment. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So the way you just described it, it falls a little bit into the category of almost the 1960s reader. Oh, what's Batman going to do now? Find out next time, reader. And then
yeah, exactly.
It's pretty antiquated.
Yeah, that's
so they get
a good voice too. I like that.
Yeah.
I never even knew this. My kids and I, we read bedtime stories are the Fantastic Four. And for the 3-year-old, it's Jack Kirby. And for the 5-year-old, it's John Byrne. And it's something I never even noticed was the balloons that have the dotted lines. Did you ever notice? What does a dotted line balloon mean?
A whisper.
Do you know what it is?
Whispers.
Yeah, it's whispering.
Yeah.
I had no idea until recently. I never even noticed that. And we
That's
kept
cool.
reading it. And my son figured it out. He said, that's their whispering. I said, oh, I'm too simple to even figure out what the dialogue.
I just thought that was Invisible Woman talking because she's in a dotted line in her body sometimes.
That's pretty good.
That's right, man.
I know we've got whispering. So Eric did the lettering for the first half of Downcast, and this was more. I felt like it was needed too in some places. Like, so there's whispering. There's also the dreaded reverse, or what do you call it when there's black? The background negative. Yeah, but to me, like, it has to be there. Like, you need the lettering to show. So anyway,
I did that right. It's supposed to come from him, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
You did a great job. That's another thing too. I'm noticing, like, the second time around. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm going to send you a list of changes, but it's not like lettering changes. It's like, oh, hey, I spelled this word wrong, or like just things. You know what I mean? With the script that come up, editing.
No, yeah, it happens. That's part of the job, man. Don't feel bad for doing that.
Absolutely. But my point is, like, it's kind of nice because we've already kind of, with the lettering, you've already lettered the first one, and so you're like, okay, just got the style down. You know what I mean? It just went. So it's almost like this is easier this time around.
Yeah. Plus, I've got probably 3 or 4 dozen books under my belt between the two downcasts. So plenty of mileage between those books.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah. Lots of experience.
Yeah.
So I named this stream something like, will crowdfunding save comics? Yeah, that's the title.
Yeah. Yes, it will. It already has.
It already has. That's the thing is, I'm like, when you think about it, comics, they just put them on hold. They aren't being sold except for on crowdfunding sites. And then like Alterna is still selling comics. But I don't know. That's something that's crazy. We have the market cornered at the moment. There'll be more competition cropping up, but I've seen it too in my crowdfunding numbers for Downcast that I've actually seen an uptick in backers. I'm not sure what that's due to, but I kind of think it's because there's no other comics, so people are jumping on.
I think you getting a book out and getting it in people's hands and continuing with your YouTube is the winning combination here.
Yeah.
I was talking to this close friend of mine last night, and she is currently like doing streams with people in different kind of semi-famous rock bands. And during the COVID thing, they realized, like, we can't tour, but we can keep engaging with fans.
But we can rap.
And yeah, we can rap on YouTube. And they hang out and they engage with fans and have great conversations and laugh their asses off. And I'm just like, oh yeah, like what we're doing in Comicsgate. Like, there other people are catching on because of COVID, but it's a combination of, delivering a good product, making and running an exciting campaign, and running YouTube and hanging with your fans.
Hanging with the boys.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a good point. I've watched a few now. Mike Shinoda of Linkin Park, he's got a YouTube channel and he streams every single day now. And he's just making a song. Like he'll make one song in a day, like all on the computer. I forget what program he's using, but it's kind of interesting. You know,
Music Maker, probably.
Yeah, it's on the Mac. It's like Fruity Loops, but for the Mac. So I don't remember what it is, but anyway,
I think
it's interesting. He's watching him do it. And he's got all the professional equipment and everything, and it was like, oh, this is pretty cool. You know, there's like 1,000 people watching or something like that, 500 to 1,000. And then like this is like a musician that a lot of people know about. He's been around for a long time, and like a lot of these Comicsgate streams are getting the same numbers or more, you know, watching the YouTube videos. So I don't know.
I think the bigger news is that Linkin Park is still a thing.
Well, I mean, kind of.
I mean, can you be Linkin Park without Chester?
No. You know what's funny is that was the kind of that's an analog to what Ethan was doing. He first started his YouTube channel. I mean, he was getting on there and he was just drawing and talking to people, and he didn't have any credit as a YouTube creator, but he had credit as a comics artist, and he just kind of built on his previous success. And like all of us, we all have other interests, so it'll be interesting to see which one of these guys like that kind of stick around and kind of evolve and see the opportunity of YouTube.
Right. Yeah, it's like the consistency of it that's the tough part. But man, I had a comment on Twitter today. Some guy, the guy that's I don't know, maybe you guys have seen around. He's Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he does the voice. He writes it out like as though Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, is that what he's trying to do?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know. Writing so weird.
It's kind of hard to decipher sometimes.
Yeah. Now I get it.
Yeah. He's like, hey, I missed your daily videos. Like I make 4 videos a week now, because I just want to have a little bit more free time, and so, but it's crazy. Like 4 videos a week, it's still not really consistent enough. You know what I mean? Or you could be more.
Gotta be daily, Clint.
I know
daily.
It gets tough though, man. I've got to like quit. That would do it. That would solve my problem.
I don't think you have to quit, but you could just drop it and make it 2 or 3 or 4 a week, but just make sure they're the same days. As long as you're consistent, that's all that really matters.
Right. Well, and I think it works. Views are still there and everything. 4 days a week, I think it's pretty good. But
I'll be honest, I didn't notice there was a change.
Yeah, that's what I thought would happen. Is that only the people that are like really watching every day, which they're out there, and I
thank you, Hut.
They're great. Yeah, he loves my videos. I actually have a new person. This always comes up, but there's one commenter that just shows up every single video and writes a comic like, "You're a terrible person," and like he'll just go off, and it's every single day. So I'm like, I know, I don't know, like you're probably the same person that used to do it. You just have a new name, But,
it's me, Clint. It's me.
It is. I love it.
Notice it died down when Scott was on quarantine.
I thought it would have escalated if he was bored.
But his internet didn't work. So
I'm gonna go roast someone in the comment section. Yeah.
Right on. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys know I'm working on Lady Alchemy too,
yep.
And we got an awesome artist, Dario, and so far that's been keeping me busy, but it's been awesome. It's turning into a real special book. A lot of cool style to it.
It's great. Cool art. Do you have an artist now for that? I know there's been some turnover.
Yes,
that's a good way to word it.
Yeah. Dario, which is so weird. When I was nobody, just sending 10-page pitches to Dark Horse back in the day, back in like 2009 or so. Dario and I talked about working together and never did. And so I was like I was on a hunt, like I was on a mission to get her an artist. Matt like was kind of there, and then he wasn't, and then he was, and then I told him like this book needs you, you know, and I gave him this awesome speech, and then he was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, and then he was like, I can't, scheduling conflict. So unfortunately, we didn't get to work with him. He's so awesome, you know. He would have done a great job for the book, but he had another project he had to work on that's being crowdfunded at the moment or about to. And so he had to take off. So I was on this mission to make this artist happen. So I was just going back to emails from ancient days, you know, people that I thought wouldn't even remember me. Dario remembered me and was really nice and said, I can't work on anything with you right now. You know, I have professional gigs. And the next day he's like, I just got laid off because of COVID. And I was like, hey man, pencil up. Like I've got a job for you. And he jumped on it.
Did your first email should have just been a link to the YouTube video of I will remember you.
Yeah. I remembered him. I mean, because back then I looked up to him. You know, I was this guy who was like, I hope I can make a comic someday. And he was making pro stuff for Dark Horse and stuff. So I really looked up to him and thought we would never work together. And now just, you know, life happens.
Life happens. You know, I never thought we'd work together, Vaughn, but here we are.
Really? You thought that?
I thought the same thing about Eric, but then my check cleared, and all of a sudden he wanted
you're thinking of never wanting to work with me again.
You know what's funny though is when I was putting together my creative team and everything, I thought I know I want a professional letterer, and then I thought I need Eric. Well, I didn't know who Eric was, and then someone was like, "Well, duh, ask Eric." And then I thought, "Oh, Eric's gonna give me so much credibility." Because he's a professional letterer, and he like
that was before I got on streams and everybody realized not a whole lot of substance here.
Yeah, the first thing we saw of you was you were lettering Jawbreakers, so everyone was like, "What a badass!"
I gotta say that Jawbreakers and Graveyard Shift were
biggest snake oil salesman in Comicsgate right now.
Yeah, he was just faking his way through it, like, yeah.
Here you make it, brother.
Hey, if anybody can make it through lettering with John Malin, then they're a real deal letterer and tough, because that guy is a perfectionist for every page of his book, which is really admirable. But I've been there to work with Eric and John for lettering Graveyard Shift, or at least the new books that I got to work on. And I mean, he's amazing how much he makes you do to like give a perfect composition for every page, you know.
Not that I'm incompetent at my job. John is, well, let's just say I've been forged in the fires of Malin.
There you go.
Because that was my first gig. That was like literally, I know I've said this before, but he put the thing on Twitter. It was 2 years ago. Put the thing on Twitter like September 2018. It's like, hey, we're looking for a letterer. I put my info out there. I did a test page. I took one of the pages from the campaign, threw Metallica lyrics on it, and said, here you go. I made it look like Spawn. That's what he wanted. And then that's what got me the job. And then 2 weeks later, I emailed you boy, and I was like, hey, I'm lettering John Malin. Let me letter John Malin on your book, because he just listed his lettering, and it just wasn't, well.
It wasn't Eric Weathers.
It wasn't my lettering.
No.
Yeah.
So it's been fun. Like, what a way to start a career.
Well, and now you're relettering Cyberfrog.
Now I'm relettering Cyberfrog. I hope I can work with Ethan on something else where I can actually do what I do. Because right now I just have to trace over the old letters because they're in the artwork. They were drawn on the page. I've been able to like make minor adjustments here and there in Photoshop. If I need to cut like an end of a balloon off or an end of a caption box off, I can do that. But I can't completely do it just because the way that they are on the page, they are. And then with Kyle's colors, if it was just black and white, I wouldn't have any trouble. But with Kyle's colors, it's Photoshop can only do. I only have so much time to make Photoshop do so much, I should say.
Yeah. And we were just talking this morning about how you got to write "Ya Boy" and Jawbreakers, and it was just like this big defining moment.
We went down memory lane. You know,
that was cool.
Jawbreakers, the "Ya Boy" thing
when he's jumping
and screaming "Ya Boy," that, and then the splort sound effect and all the good things.
It just comes to mind that, when I jumped on, I had no idea Zach was in here, and, talking with him briefly there, that's the first time I've talked to him in almost 22 years.
Wow.
Yeah. We were on
You talked to him 22 years ago?
Yeah, we were on at least one call back in the late 90s when we were working on an indie book. Like we both knew the same pro who was trying to put together an anthology book. And, that's how we kind of bumped into each other.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. I don't know. The internet, it's really interesting because like around here, I've said this before, but there's just not, like, I've looked and tried to build up a writers group. There's a lot of fiction writers here, but not for comics. I remember really trying to get together like a comics writers group where we could, put our scripts together and, get some help and everything. There's like no interest over here. But then like, on the internet, it's like, oh, there's tons of people. Vaughn's here.
Yeah.
All you need. Vaughn's here.
I'm here to help.
That's right.
Just ask.
I'm afraid to give any of you guys my stuff because I just needs to be good enough. I don't need perfection.
Oh,
and plus, I don't want to lose all credibility with my fellow writers. So
I don't know. I've lost all. It's weird because with writing, you have to be proud enough, or you have to be confident enough, I guess, that you're going to be willing to publish it and get it out there. But you also at the same time have to be humble enough to know that you're going to get roasted.
That's so funny because like with my own writing, I'm really humbled. I just don't think it's very good and it's passable. And it's, I try to keep it simple and things like that. But then I read other people's stuff and I'm just kind of like, man, this really stinks, or it's easy for me to be critical of somebody else, but ultimately I can't be critical of my own stuff because we're mentally defective that way. But
I totally disagree. I'm overly critical of my own stuff.
Well, I have too, but it's never enough. It's never enough.
Yeah, that's true too. You almost never feels done. It's interesting because writing a comic, when you see it on a script, you're still not seeing it on the page. And there's been all these times where I thought I wrote a great line or whatever, and then I see it on the page and I go, this is trash. Yeah. It really is its own art form, man.
Right.
Well,
so as long as you keep that in mind.
When I did Door Kickers, that was like my thing, and I was, completely in a bubble, isolated when I wrote that. But with Peregrine, working with, I helped kind of come up with the story and the plot with the guys from Graded, and then Xavier kind of put some kind of long-winded, well, not long-winded, that has a negative connotation, but long form kind of story notes. But when there was a lot of little things that like, well, this doesn't work at all, and this is great. I could literally use this word for word, and so it was just really interesting, that iterative process working with those guys, getting the script where it needed to be, and then eventually the script became my thing, and I was responsible for that, and just nice. going back and the editorial process, because they were giving me notes, but at the same time they were deferring to me on a lot of things. So it was just a real good collaborative process. And then we added Piper, who is the editor, and she didn't even know about the book when we were first writing it. So it was just kind of funny, how she worked in, and now she's kind of, she's that hard-nosed editor and say, "Oh, this isn't very good. You need to change this." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
she's grown into it.
I practically hired you for this job, and now you're telling me that something's not good enough. Who the hell do you think you are?
Cracking the whip.
I love it.
It's a good editor.
It's like she could not work at Marvel with that kind of attitude.
Oh. She's actually decent editor.
The right attitude.
Michael Bancroft says Charlie Snogans is left-handed. Charlie Snogans is ambidextrous. Is that? Can I still?
I go both ways.
Oh,
it just depends on which scene. If you're in the scene, you got to swing with whatever scene you're in.
And that makes a nickel in prison go by quicker.
Charlie,
Wait a minute, I've got to break that saying down. A nickel in prison goes by quicker if you can use both hands.
Mhm.
If the nickel goes by quicker, does that mean you get the nickel quicker and then you could buy cigarettes first?
There's
No,
a lot of
5 years.
Hey, brother, there's a lot of layers there. We can peel that back later.
certainly. Charlie has a video of him drawing with both hands at the same time. We got to show that sometime.
We'll get to that.
I don't want to see that.
Yeah. It is amazing.
So
I don't
here's
want to see that.
here's an interesting thing. Here's an interesting thing. I mean, I learned this in art school, right? So, like, I'm right-handed, and if I try to do the same thing with my left hand that I do with my right hand, it doesn't work, right? But as soon as I do the same thing at the same time, like try writing your name, but one hand is writing it backwards. The left hand's writing backwards, and the right hand is writing the normal way. All of a sudden, you can absolutely duplicate like the motions of your opposite hand.
Yeah,
You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to let the left hand know what the right hand's doing.
Something about which is in which pocket.
Yeah.
I write with both hands at the same time. So
There you
Oh,
go.
Me too.
whoa.
I'm really good at
right.
typing.
Big
I'm really good with typing with only one hand. I learned that in my AOL days.
I used to use one finger.
I get that.
You get it.
Oh, boy.
One-handed typing.
Clint, do you still type with one finger?
One finger, yeah, like a grandma, That's all the scripts, yeah.
Writer of Downcast pecking at his keyboard.
I'm totally kidding. I'm a proficient typer. Yeah, I don't know where we're going with that one. Anyway, there was a question in the chat for Eric.
Oh.
I'm gonna find it here. No, it wasn't here's the comment about great hair. First, first you have great hair. Here we go. Here's the question: how much skill do you need with Photoshop to be a letterer?
Seems like Illustrator would be more important.
Well, you can letter in Photoshop. I've done it before. I did it on Earthworm Jim. I've done it on some previous Flying Fortress books back in the day. It's possible. I don't want to sound rude, but if you have to ask that question, you probably don't have enough skill. No, it doesn't take much. You just got to be able to make a shape and make a tail and throw some text in there, really,
and understand layers and
yeah.
I would say
because the Vaughn's done it in Photoshop too. Vaughn over here.
Yeah, I used to do my lettering for my books, and I would use Photoshop and be a sloppy jerk with it. But I learned a lot from it. I would say learn the skill of lettering, and the Photoshop stuff will just come easily.
Yeah. I see here Michael Bancroft is asking, what about InDesign? Do you mean lettering in InDesign? I wouldn't suggest it. Ultimately,
That's just a layout program.
Yeah, it's for putting your book together for print. I would suggest Illustrator. If you want to ease your way into it, Clip Studio Paint has built-in lettering. It does not look great, but it's better to use that than to use anything else that you don't know how to use. But Photoshop is fine. If you like hand-drawn stuff, hand-drawn word balloons and tails, you want that organic look, definitely do that in Photoshop. You can do it in Illustrator, but you need you're not going to be able to do that easily with a mouse.
Yeah.
Now you're doing downcast in Illustrator, right? But you're just sorry about that.
Nice.
Oh gosh, professional. I was just thinking what you're probably doing is you're making a circle and then kind of mushing it in to make it look more organic.
You want to take class? Let's go to class right now. I'll show you what I do.
Ooh.
We're gonna get schooled. Let's do it.
Yeah. Let me open up Illustrator.
Yeah, I know enough about lettering. I learned by lettering my own stuff a little bit, enough to know that I need to hire somebody to do lettering.
I highly
Never
trying their first
never attempted.
letter.
Yeah, there's so many little rules with lettering and things that you run into I hadn't even thought about until you actually do the process, that it's like, okay, it's not just making balloons and putting words in. There's a little bit more to it.
All right, so
It is a little more, but not too much.
Here real quick.
Not too much, though. Yeah, don't give Eric too much credit.
I don't deserve any credit.
Well, I mean, that's probably true.
It is. All right.
You said it. I mean,
You sharing a screen?
Let's see. Let's go type. I didn't grab a comic book page, so I don't know if my balloon, I guess that looks good. All right, so let me change this to uppercase. Okay. So let's go to class. This is how I do. I don't remember the font I use on Downcast off the top. Oh, yes, I do. I use back issues because. So, all right, let me share my screen real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is how I would do it in Adobe Illustrator. You copy and paste the text from your Word document, not from the photo screenshot. And then notice the crossbar eyes. That's this font in particular has those. So I'll show you real quick. Crossbar eye is that, regular eye is that. In this font, it is a free font. Therefore, it's not super, it doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles. So you have to go in and manually change each eye. So they're using the I here in Indiegogo in your lowercase.
Yeah.
So, because I typed this in all caps like a noob. So you shape your, I don't have my template out. So this is all off template. So the word balloons go on one layer, balloons, and the text goes on another layer. Letters. The sound effects will go on its own layer and yada, yada, yada. So this is a regular shape here. This is a, gosh dang. I'm all nervous because I'm on live. This is a regular ellipse. Press L to bring up your ellipse tool and you make this shape. Most people are like, that's good. There's my word balloon. Au contraire, that's not your word balloon. That's amateur hour right there, okay? So you want to shape it to the text. But you also want to make it look like a comic book balloon. So I'll show you how to make a regular one and then we'll downcast it and Monster MD it up. So you'll shape it to the text. What I do is I hold the Alt key. I guess it might be Apple as well. And you bring in both sides at the same time. And I'm going to use my shortcut keys. You press S for scale, the scale tool, and then I hit Shift F2. And I don't remember what this is, but it brings up the direction handle. I think it's somewhere in here is direction handles. And you pull on this and it grabs all of them at the same time. You see that? And that's what makes your balloon shape.
More natural.
Yeah.
It's almost
so now, in order to make it more organic, you press A, which is the direct select tool, and you get 4 points here. 1, 2, 3, one on each corner. Each of those has handles to pull, and you can make your shape however you want. So for Downcast and Monster MD, I'll just nudge one a little bit this way, sort of drag it. I've got snap on. I need to turn that off. No snapping, please. Grab another one, shift it, grab another one, tilt it. And eventually, you don't always nail it every time. So when you do, you just copy that one and reuse it, and flip it and twist it and give it a good use over and over again. So that would be a little bit more organic looking one. And then you draw your tail. Love it.
So as long as you have a basic understanding of layers and how to make some basic shapes, and some of the basic tools that will make it more natural, you can letter your own book. But you also need to learn the art of lettering. I mean, it's its own art, and people like me and Erica both probably went to the same resources. The guy that runs, what is it? His awesome font website?
Blambot.
Blambot. That guy puts out great stuff.
Years and years ago, I learned on, and even this font, like you got to make sure that your kerning and letting is right. Like I would bring this in a little tighter. You want to shape it to as much of a oval as you can without hyphenating any words unless it will work with a hyphen. So let me think of an example here. A good hyphenated, gosh dang. Sometimes I get like a hotkey that gets stuck and makes life difficult. You could hyphenate, like you wouldn't want to hyphenate the word battle. So I wouldn't want it to go off the edge of the word here and hyphen into the next line. That's a bad hyphen. A good hyphen, see, class is in session. Everybody pull up a seat. A good hyphen is if there are two words. So like homestead would be an acceptable hyphenated word. By hyphen, I mean off the edge of the balloon. So it's going to be Homestead Road. Home, and then stead. That's
I'm transfixed about lettering, but I couldn't. Yeah, you were doing a lettering school. It was wonderful, and then you decided I'm gonna make paint drying. I'm gonna make watching paint dry even more boring by telling them about homesteading. You picked the most boring word.
I just picked a word that I could think that had two meanings. Intergalactic, inter-galactic. Again, I don't know why I ran down that tangent, but that's how I do the organic balloons for
It's
a
beautiful.
lot of things. And you can also change the stroke, which is the outline. So, and you can do that here. And they have some built in, but I always make a custom one. You go in here, calligraphic brush, 1 point. You squeeze it and you tilt it and you call it good, and then it becomes. See, it has that shape to it. Or it's a little thinner, a little thicker.
It's like a naturally drawn shape.
You'll be able to see the difference. See how it's a little bit more organic,
less homesteady, more
More battle.
less homesteady, more battle bricky.
Battle, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Do letterers make their own fonts?
Some do.
Some
Yeah,
do.
I have yet to. I have emulated the Cyberfrog font from the 90s, but I have not created my own font yet. There are so many good ones out there.
Yeah.
I haven't. I don't feel the need currently to try and compete with that because there are guys that have been making fonts for decades, and right now it can take months of work to really make a good solid font.
Yeah.
If you want it to be as versatile as it can be.
Right.
So I'm going to be doing a lot of these videos. By the way, I'm behind. Behind the.
All right, I'm just getting more questions for
Okay.
you.
I'm going to be doing more of these videos as a class. Don't teach people how to letter their own books. So this would be more of an advanced technique. But
Build up.
In fact, Eric and I talked about what if we made a mini little comic together and we showed everyone all the steps from start to finish with a series of videos. Call it our master class. Everyone else has one. My freaking cat has one these days.
yeah,
Have you guys noticed that everyone has a master class now? Like, hi, I'm an astronaut and I'm going to teach you to go to the moon. Like, what is going on with these things?
I just saw the other day that Gordon Ramsay now has his second master class. In the first master class, I taught you this, but now that wasn't the real master class. This is the real master class.
The
you're not
second
a master yet.
is on cursing people out or something. Like, this is not really to do it.
You're
Go British
fucking
fan.
useless.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Oh, we got another $5 super chat. Thank you very much. He says, "This is awesome. Can you show narration text as well?" It looks like that's what you're doing right
that's
now.
narration. Very simple for narration. You want it more letterbox shaped. Long rectangles. Try to avoid big blocks of text like this.
Yeah.
And that's something that Vaughn and I were talking about. Like sometimes I get scripts where I'll have a 30, 40, 50 words in a dialogue, and they want that all in one balloon. So one of the jobs for me is to say that's not going to work because it'd just be a massive balloon that nobody would want to read. You have to break it up.
That sounds like one.
I have to read through those as like, okay, where would somebody normally maybe take a breath and then make that a separate balloon that you would then build.
That reminds me of the panel on that one page in Door Kickers where you were like, all right, so I've lettered it the way you wrote it, and I've had to cover up the entire panel.
Yeah.
I was like,
the corner balloons.
Well, that's the sad thing is like, that's where like the artist has all the dialogue. And I hate that. I mean, I had to, ultimately it came back to me and I had to rewrite it all to kind of make it fit. But, you're thinking to yourself, if the artist had read the script and saw how much dialogue was there, he would have increased the size of that and decreased the size of the first panel, which had one word balloon in it. It was just kind of like, And of course, I blame myself because, like when you're, we've talked about this before. When, we may be the writers of these books, but we're also the producer, the editor, the everything. So,
mail guy.
You can't blame anybody else but yourself when somebody like Eric comes back and says, "Hey, listen, here's the bill you're going to have to pay on this."
Yeah,
it's true. The rule is, guys, I think it's like 25, 26 words per balloon. Try to keep it if you get to that, that's when you cut yourself off.
Yeah. Yeah. And I find with these narration, I don't want to call them balloons, boxes, I guess. I don't know what you'd call them.
Captions.
Dialogue box.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, narration
Caption.
box. There you
Caption
That's what I call
boxes.
them.
Yeah, caption.
Perfect.
Yeah, I like to break those up, and then you can, like, there's a few pages in Downcast. I know that Eric just lettered, but it's like you can trail them through a page, an image, and that way you're reading something, and then you're seeing something, and then you're reading a little bit more. And I just feel like it's more fun to read that way. That's how the comics I like, where it's not just a block of text and then you see the picture and then another block of text. You know what I mean? It's kind of broken up. I don't know, maybe personal preference, but there's a boom.
There's a boom, a subtle boom. Clint likes the subtle sound effect. So
there is a boom
sound effect.
This is the.
I will.
Beautiful.
I'll run through this real quick. I'll go backwards. I already did it, so I'll Control Z and then just go Control Y forward. Okay. So what you do is you get your sound effect font. There are plenty available for you at blambot.com. Some of the paid ones I will admit, the paid ones are always better. But this is Palooka, and I believe this one's free, and it's one of my go-to sound effects. So first you type out the sound effect, and then you sort of size it where you want it. And then you do what's convert to outlines. You convert the text. Right now it's editable. I can change any letter in it to anything else. What I want to do is make those shapes. So
this is where Illustrator kind of shines.
Yeah. This is where Illustrator shines. However, doing hand-drawn sound effects in Photoshop is pretty kick-ass. So you go to Object,
I love
Expand.
Those. Freaking love those.
Oh, sorry, not Object Expand. You go to, let's see, hit Control-Shift-O. Which one is that one? Type.
Oral. I don't know.
Create outlines. That's what it is. Control-Shift-O. I use my shortcut, so I don't think about what the thing is. So Control-Shift-O will make it outlines, which is it makes it. Each one of these is its own shape. You remember when we clicked on the word balloon here?
You used to call that convert to path. So
yeah.
each one became its own vector image.
So they all have their own direction handles here. So you do that.
Yep.
And then Photoshop Illustrator has a great function where you can double click on any group, and it will notice how all this stuff. I'm pointing at my screen. You can't see where I'm pointing. Notice how all this stuff went gray. I can't click on any of that right now. I'm only editing this word. So then I go through here and shape it. And I always nudge every sound effect. I don't just throw a word in there and call it good and just take the font as it comes. I always nudge and stretch and pull and finesse and make it good. So that's good there. Cool. Hit escape, it goes back. I can now select everything. Selecting the font again, you go to your Pathfinder, and this is if you want to make it one without any overlapping letters. This will make it all one shape. You hit Unite, boom, boom, literally boom. It's all one shape. So these are not separate letters anymore. As you can see, the red outline kind of traces around it. And then you go into your effects, you go to warp, and you pick one from warp. I go to bulge every time. I love the bulge. And
bold statement.
I was going to say, that's what she said.
Exactly. Give it a little nudge here or there, however you want to do it. The vertical, the horizontal, you can make it more bombastic or more blown out or however. Whatever fits the artwork. And this is where you go to Object, Expand, and that makes it.
That's too much innuendo.
That's my entire life. So then you look at it and you think, well, that's not bad. And then that's when you change it around and make it, with the red, and maybe throw a gradient in there.
Yeah.
I've got a swatch palette here that I load that I like to use. It's got tons of different stuff.
Oh, I like that one. Yeah. Yeah, and this is why, I'm following you and I know how to use Illustrator. I think I could do this, especially now that I've seen this tutorial. But I don't want to. I just want you to do it.
Yeah. Hey, that's what I'm here for. So
exactly. Yeah.
This has been a brief class, I guess. And the other thing, you got to pay attention to that looks weird there. I'm always going in that's cut off straight. So I go in and change your corners.
Got to tweak it.
Rounded corners, boom.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Easy solution.
I love that the chat is just loving this too, because there's so many questions I can't keep up.
Hey, well, let me plug something real quick. I started firing up my Twitch channel again. I'm going to be doing my art on there because there's better discoverability for artists on Twitch than there is on YouTube.
Really?
And so I'm going to be lettering a lot when I'm available. When there's a project that the creator doesn't mind that I letter on stream, I will letter on there, and I'll be happy to answer any questions while I'm doing it. And I'll also be drawing Battle Brick Road on the stream. I started last night. I fired up the engines, drew some character designs that are going to go on the campaign. So
nice.
Never run with bulge before.
Eric,
Give the bulge a chance. You'll be glad you did.
I'm learning things and listening to you. I feel very relaxed.
That's good. I used to do tech support for the local cable company, Cox Communications. We have Cox down here in Kansas. And
we're getting with too much innuendo.
Again, it's been around me my whole life. My supervisor would always compliment me on my very soothing. I could always de-escalate just by talking to the person.
I thought you were going to say he complimented you on your Cox and your innuendo
or your bulge.
You can do
the bulge compliment. That wasn't the.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the call. That was the 6 month.
You could be one of those guys that talks people off the ledge. Like a police negotiator or something.
I've actually
a negotiator. Yeah.
I've had to do that sort of before.
Or the Bob Ross of lettering.
That's a
letters.
In college, I did turn this into a fro.
Well, that could come back. That ought to be a stretch goal or something.
Nothing's off the table. I told my wife six figures is a mullet, and she's like,
"I want to see a battle brick fro." I don't know about you guys.
I want you to do the Tiger King mullet. I will never financially recover from this haircut. I want you to do that.
I tell you what. If Battle Brick Road does seven figures, if it does 6 figures, I really don't expect it to. I would love it to, but if it does, I will Tiger King it up. I will bleach it and everything.
All right,
I'm going to shave it when it's done.
I'm going to push this thing.
Yeah, the handlebars.
And you have to bleach it blonde and wear like the tiger print shirt with it too.
I will do that for
$100,000.
I'm going to get destroyed.
You floozy.
Yeah.
Your wife. Okay, this has to happen. You've heard it here first. This is now permanent.
In motion.
It's happening. You practically have 100K right now. You have a lettering job, by the way. It looks like Skits Comics says, can you do skits?
Yes, I will do skits on stream. We've talked about that before. So
okay, great.
Yeah, nice. You guys will get to see me do skits. And I did door kickers one time as like a test.
Yeah.
And I was on stream and I was like, there's too much dialogue here.
Well, one of the things I was thinking, Eric, is something like that would be really cool. Especially for like the first half of a book or something like that, where you're not getting really spoiled by anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a great opportunity. You're going to be talking about your stuff, so that's good for you as an artist personally.
Yeah.
But then whoever's project you're kind of, there's an obvious plug there. It's a good synergy, especially for one of the smaller creators to kind of get their name out there, because, you've got your own fan base.
Yeah. Eric, there's so many questions. I feel bad about, I know I want to close off the stream pretty soon here, but I kind of want to
have a good time.
I know. Let me get through these questions for you because I just feel like I've never seen this many people interested in lettering before.
Nobody ever talks about it. I think honestly,
they're very polite. They're not really interested.
They know. So I'm going to go backward, I think here. So here's a question. Once you've finished the lettering in Illustrator, do you send it flat to the client for them to arrange on the page, or do you put it on the page yourself?
I put it on the page myself. I will show you.
Thank goodness too, because that's a big part I think of the skill too, is where the placement.
So I have a comic book. I have a lettering template.
Oh wait, I have a question too. And then, are you handling the final mechanicals for print?
Not every time, but a majority of the time I do. Yeah, I do pre-press as well. Design, pre-press.
Speaking of that, Eric, you and I need to have a conversation about that.
Sounds good. So to answer that question, I use a lettering template. I got this one from Blambot, and I've sort of customized it over the year or two that I've been using it. It's pretty straightforward. Let me see here. That's the command for InDesign. Come on.
Yeah, don't get sound confused.
I can paste an image in here, and my shortcut key's not working. There we go.
That's it.
So I was lettering Inglewood today. So let's grab a Downcast page.
Apologies for getting off the rails. Sorry about that.
I just want to show. I'll do Downcast page 1. I pasted in here. Oh, by the way, I need to get higher res artwork for pages 1 through 7 from you. They weren't the right size.
Clint.
Whatever, Clint. What are you doing?
Yeah. So
Come
then
on, amateur hour.
and then I will place the word balloons as I letter it. I'll place it in here, and they all go on their own layer. I'll place the word balloons in here, and then I'll send these proofs with the template to Clint or any client and say, "Here are your proofs. Let me know what you like, what you don't like."
Yeah.
And then they'll get me back. Everything's good to go. And then when that's done, I export it as the regular high-res file. A lot of times people just use those. I use TIFFs. They'll use those as the print file, and that's good to go. They're always 300 DPI or higher, so that's really all you need. Some people like using the vector for making sure that there is no problem with the print file. So that's what I do in pre-press. So if I'm handling it, then
If you make something in Photoshop, you're gonna get, and you zoom into it, you will see the pixels that you're working in. That's how Photoshop works. Whereas zoom in on Illustrator, notice how you don't see pixels, how everything's smooth. There's your difference there, and that's why it's a good choice usually to letter in Illustrator.
That's the difference between a vector graphic and a raster image.
Yep.
Yeah. Question along the same lines. Oh, Charlie had a question first.
Yeah.
Charlie. So you don't forget it.
I forget what it was now. I'm too simple to remember a question.
the answer is after the first date.
The
answer is
I was always wondering.
Yeah.
You got a good question from GPez.
GPez. You can do the same thing in Photoshop, can't you? Is it just a preference thing? Photoshop has paths and you can reshape them the same way. Just don't rasterize the balloon layer.
Right. So the newer versions of Photoshop have it supports vector graphics and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But Illustrator is designed to do that. So
Yeah, you can. Again, it's I've done it before. Some people just want to just maybe only have the one program. You can get Photoshop for $10 a month. So
that's like saying you can dig a grave with a pick, but that doesn't mean you should dig a grave with a pick.
I'm not even saying you shouldn't use Photoshop. I think it's perfectly adequate. However, I'm more speaking in Illustrator.
Yeah.
You're very polite, Eric. I appreciate your candor.
There's one more
Also,
question.
it is very polite to dig a hole. Is it polite to dig a hole grave with a pick? Good Lord.
Well, it depends on what the soil is like. If it's really rocky, you're going to have a pick most of the time anyway. I just found to find it. If you find a deep enough ditch, especially with some leaves, just put the body in there, cover it up with leaves.
Okay.
This sounds like a page from Monster MD.
No confessions at the
This is getting dark. So somebody said, I thought this was a family show. Sorry.
And the family is dead.
Yeah. They're buried in the ditch.
Hey, let's talk about Vaughn.
And they have
his necro arm transplant and things like that.
Yes, morbidity
from his book.
Look at that splort. That's a handsome splort you got there.
That's Eric's favorite. That's Eric's favorite effect, isn't it?
Do you have that trademark
to change the world?
Well, he invented it and got to put it in Jawbreaker, so it's like it's a special splort to him.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
This is the master class. Did everyone came here? This is the master class. Here it is. You don't have to look any farther.
I said, I will. I want to do a course like this on YouTube. Just have a bunch of videos, or somebody suggested I go to Udemy or something and do like an actual master class, get paid for it.
Do you have those out there, Eric?
I have done it. It's just about how to make a word balloon. I've been too busy. Lettering everything to, I have to do it on my own artwork. So I'll probably do it while I'm working on Battle Brick Road. It'd be a good way to get people to the campaign too.
That gets to the whole reason why he's sharing this knowledge at this point in his career, because too many people are coming to him saying, "Hey, Eric, can you letter my book?" And he's like, and he just
teach a man to fish.
Listen, that's not entirely wrong. However, This is my job. This is my day to day. I letter books for a living. I've been very blessed to be able to make this, to get in at the right time and make this happen. So that pre-press and an occasional logo, and I'm doing pretty well for myself and my family. So,
Well, so wait, Eric, were you doing stuff before Comicsgate?
yeah, Flying Fortress was before Comicsgate. All that stuff we drew that and created that over a series of several years. When that finished in 2017, I said I don't want to make comics right now, so I started to learn painting, digital painting, and I did a lot of stuff there. Through that, I came up with the idea for Oz and came back to comics. That's the shortest explanation I can give you. But as I was making that transition back into comics and writing, coming up with the idea for Battle Brick Road, there was an opportunity to letter some books. And I had experience with it from Flying Fortress, and I threw my hat in the ring, and, there you go.
Wait, so did you publish Flying Fortress before
Comicsgate.
the last
Yeah.
printing?
Yeah, I did. We just self-published.
Through-
It was never published through any publisher. We just did print on demand, and we went to shows and sold them as floppies. I got a short box here with the remaining floppies from our first print runs. Issue 1 is out completely. We had variant covers. Most of those are gone. Yeah. And then the idea behind the book was to remaster it. I touched up some of the artwork that was wrong. There was a couple panels that I had to flip because they didn't read right. And I fixed the ladies' faces because she looked like a horse.
Of course.
Sometimes horse ladies are very pretty.
Well, that's true, but not this one.
Penelope Cruz.
Hey,
Sarah
Penelope Adler is the character from Flying Fortress. So Penelope.
I would never have described Penelope Cruz as horse-faced, but that's just me.
Well, what I mean, listen, when people sometimes, when you're talking about describing a person, she looked like a dog. I know a lot of pretty ladies that look like basset hounds, and you don't want to say, well, if you're gonna remove the person from the humanity and say, well, here's the character that they look like, and sometimes people look like dogs. It's just part of part of being human. That's how they look cool, right? Penelope Cruz, she might look like a basset hound. It's the best basset hound you could ever find.
I mean, whatever gets you through the night,
I take it that horse face is for like the longer faced girls.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Sarah Jessica Parker is definitely in that category, right?
I think
I think you're right there.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah, man. She's almost like graduated the Shrek donkey. I swear to God.
The funny thing is Clint likes to avoid all the drama, but what's going to happen is there's going to be Twitter drama. This panel of 5 men talking about a horse face, beautiful women,
Space dog.
horse face. Yes,
these are beautiful.
misogynistic.
I don't.
Whatever.
People get.
That's just like Tuesday for me.
I was gonna say people are mad. I'm just like so. I don't know. Honestly, we had that earthquake here, and it kind of brought me perspective. Sounds cheesy, but I just thought my house could go flat at any moment. I don't care what people say on Twitter anymore. So
you don't need a house. You don't need a house. You've been in masterclass.
I was gonna say, wow.
Yeah.
You ever cared what people said on Twitter?
You do. I mean, I don't know. Like you're worried about it ruining your career. That's the thing is they make you believe like your career is ruined. In comics is ruined if you don't make this random anonymous person on Twitter happy with you.
You know what's so funny about
how ridiculous that is. But.
And I never got this about like from day one in my involvement with Comicsgate. The two things that it just makes me really kind of scratch my head and wonder is, A, why the anonymity? Why would you even put yourself in a position to where you would ever worry about being doxxed in the first place? And second, right? Why would you care what any of these people think anyway? Because ultimately, if you're, if they lie about you, then they're going to lie. It doesn't matter. It's just kind of like,
it's a weird social thing, social media does it, but you think you build social relationships on the internet, and it's just like your human nature is you don't want your reputation to be ruined. And there are people on Twitter specifically that will try and ruin your reputation or run it through the mud or make you feel that way, even though that you really, like, you take a step back, they don't really have that much control, but it feels like they do.
They're just miserable people, and they
Right.
want you to be miserable with them.
I think part of it too is my position as a government employee. I mean, it would be, they wouldn't be able to touch me. They could say whatever they want. And, there's an actual process in which they would have to go through. They say you're a Nazi on the internet. Can you show us your Nazi tattoo or something? And sorry, I didn't get a Nazi tattoo. Oh well, then you're not a Nazi.
Yeah, I
Well,
don't know.
thanks.
There's a lot of weirdos out there. The fiefdom of Portland weirdos.
Fiefdom of Portland.
Yeah,
I love that.
that's what I'm saying, man. We're here to save it. We're here to save it. That was,
Yeah.
I think that's exactly Marvel, DC. They have squandered entirely a generation of what could be good comics, and they're gonna. Here's the best part. I think about 5 years ago, in my home, as I was reading these books, I was complaining about them, but now I'm rooting them on. Keep going, yeah. Do more. Do more safe space. Keep going, because nobody's gonna read that, and the market remains.
So,
and me and Clint will team up. You guys will team up.
Here's what I'm
Eric's
thinking.
gonna let everything. Eric's gonna battle Brick Road. The market's waiting there. We're gonna scoop up the whole thing. It's gonna be all out.
You keep saying going to. We already have. Not everybody has realized that yet, but we already have.
Yeah.
While the entire industry has been told pencils down, I've had more work these past 3 or 4 weeks than I've had in a long time. It's been balls crazy.
Yeah, just for two things, right? So, for the people that Ethan's crowdfunders haven't woken up yet, I think Todd McFarlane's toy crowdfunder has really kind of, people are freaking out and losing their shit over that, right? And the second thing is that, like, I remember asking Yellow Flash one time on Twitter. I was like, dude, what? Because he's talking about reviewing the new X-Men story or whatever, the one that was last year that was actually pretty decent, according to some folks. And I was like, dude, why would you even pay any attention to that stuff? And he's like, but this is, these are the characters we love and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you know what? The characters I love, his name was Wolverine, his name, Rogue, Storm, all these old school 80s X-Men. All that stuff doesn't go away because they keep making new stuff. And what happens when the story it goes too far? They retcon it, right? And so 5 years from now, somebody is going to get the license for comic book X-Men, and they're going to retcon it back to just after Secret Wars 2 or something like that, like 1988. And essentially, it's just going to be that kind of comic again. And everybody's going to forget about 20 years worth of continuity because it fucking sucks. Sorry, Clint. I apologize.
You keep saying that.
It was only my second glass, so I can't even blame the liquor,
All right. No,
what was that whiskey barrel?
A full barrel, yeah. The cool thing is, okay, so for me personally, from my perspective, I view I'm employing people too, freelancers. And so I kind of looked at the situation. I thought, well, I have money to pay, and I was already doing the Secret History of Strata and stuff to kind of spread out the work and get more people some money, so I've been getting just all sorts of different artists, hey, let me do a commission for you to do this and that. And Bob Stone is doing a logo for my publishing imprint. And also, finally, the channel, you'll be able to be a member of this channel. So they've opened.
You finally got that?
Finally, I don't know what YouTube had against me, but so I've got Bob Stone doing little icons for that, and so it's just been cool, hiring people to do stuff. The amazing thing is that all these people are like, oh, I'll get you on the list. I'm busy. They've got work, all the freelancers in Comicsgate, they have work.
Yeah,
but not people in the industry. So it's amazing. It really is.
Well, Clint, man, I kept thinking, you and I, we're gonna launch in June or something like that, and I had this, we're coming for you, Marvel.
Yeah.
You used to have everything I loved, and you've dropped the ball. We're coming for you. We're gonna knock you out. And right when we were about to do our punch, they fell to the canvas.
Yeah.
What?
That's true.
Why? Well, I still want to punch. All right. Well, we'll still sell our buck, but
Right.
I wanted to take it from them, because every night we read Sergeant Fury and the Howling Commandos. We read the Fantastic Four. We read. Right now, I just my boy. I gave him the X-Men. We read the Jack Kirby X-Men, and now we're going to John Byrne X-Men, which is a little more serious, right, with the Phoenix and everything like this. But I'm not going to get him another book from 2015. It's garbage.
Garbage.
I mean,
it's not even.
Yep.
There's a few out there. The Stuart Immonen, the Pepe Larraz, that stuff's good. Notice I only go by artists. That's the only way I define. Clint's Downcast was the first book I bought because I thought that writer sounds good. That was the first time that ever happened. So it's the biggest.
Yeah.
That's the biggest compliment I could pay Clint. And at the same time, the book was in my room, and I think my cat peed on it. It's
I was just afraid he wouldn't let me come back on his channel again if I didn't go. So.
Take it in the spirit which it was intended. I don't think my cat meant anything by it, because my kids liked it. The cat, I think he was actually just trying to pee on my bag.
Yeah, no,
and Downcast was next to it.
it's a term of
In the
endearment.
garage.
If a cat, I'll
I mean, he owns it. That's his territory now.
Right.
Vaughn, I think you got a point. He really just said, "I love this, and it's mine."
I love
I'd
this,
like
yes.
to mate.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
I'll mate with it and make down cats.
Now,
There you go.
Cats.
This has
Gold
gotta
edition.
be a cover. Gold edition. This has got to be like a cover quote, though, like approved by Charlie's Cats.
I peed on it and I sprayed on it.
We'll put a little puddle on the back cover
What?
of Downcast too.
We
After
could do
after you do Clint Stoker's Dracula, then you need to do Clint Stoker's Downcats. It could be a completely different
You could
parody.
hire like a chibi artist to do a Downcast book.
They've got to be drawn like the cats.
But that could be
film,
your direct competitor to Cyberfrog. Downcats.
Wait a second.
Where are the Downcats?
One, maybe not.
Well,
Maybe
they're
not
in the
Downcats.
club. The Downcats.
There's a certain connotation that goes with that. I think that might not go well.
Downcats. What, you think a homosexual in the back
No.
room thing?
No.
I'll be honest with you. I'm not following Eric. I mean,
Put
Come
an
on
N
in,
on the
homosexuals.
down.
We're down with you, cats. Too.
Put an S on the down.
Wait, but do you feel what I'm saying though, Clint? I feel
Yeah.
like we were building up steam, and there was the first wave of Comicsgate, which maybe that was Malin, Zach, Ethan, Doug, and Miller,
Mitch.
I guess.
Yeah.
And I got mine in there with Jawbreakers 2. Eric, you were in there, and now Vaughn with Monster. Maybe that was first wave. Now second wave. Maybe this is year 2. I felt like we were coming in with knockout blows, man. I was ready.
Yeah.
But they're dead before we got here.
All we can do now
Marcus,
is bury them in a ditch with leaves.
There you go.
That's all we have left.
and if you could afford it, lie. You don't want to put lie over the body. 'Cause
I know what you mean, though, man. It's like it's crazy because it's like, oh, we're going to compete with Marvel. I used to always say that, but it's like technically not, because they're not competing. They're like not putting anything out.
But think about it. I mean, so this economy is going to come back a lot quicker than everybody expected. I think. I think because they're opening Texas up right now. I think comic shops in Texas will be open a month from now. I'll be honest with you, Marvel, unless they've decided to cut sling load on their entire publishing gig, which I don't think they have. They've just basically pushed pause on everything, and then they'll start printing again. And the local comic shops will be hurting, but Marvel and DC will be printing again. So they'll try to just assume like, okay, well, the last 3 months is a bad memory, but it's really the nail in the coffin, right? Because nobody, EBS said on his channel the other day, habits form, over time, and they can very quickly stop being habits because people, I haven't been to my local comic shop in 3 months, and I'm having a lot of fun playing the new free,
Free Willy.
COD Warzone, or I'm watching, there's all
Eric,
these other competing things.
Make letters. Yeah.
You're competing for your money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, man, because a lot of people probably have been sitting around going, well, I can't go into the shop. Where else am I going to get my books? Well, now's the time to get their attention,
Exactly.
Yeah. It's part of the reason why I moved up my date for Battlebrick Road. Because of what your boy was saying in his videos, what Clint has been saying about getting more sales, the industry not being there for the customer. We can be.
Yeah, that's the whole reason why we pushed up the date on Peregrine, too. I mean, ultimately, we were going to wait till like May. End of May, maybe June, but I was like, we had that window after Cyberfrog launched and before, Dan Fraga went with his Dan Fraga went with his book.
Fraga.
So we went, beginning of April, and man, I can't believe how well we've done. Graded has a very loyal audience, but ultimately, this,
awesome.
It's been amazing.
That book looks great, man. It's got a great, solid premise too.
Yeah. So I've been really happy to be a part of it. Actually, Clint, if you don't mind, I'm going to give a quick plug. So Peregrine Week of the Falcon.
Kick him, Clint.
Yeah. It's it came up organically in the conversation, Clint. It's a reluctant hero story. I mean, ultimately, the problem with Mary Sue's is they don't earn what they get through the quest, right? Like Luke Skywalker, perfect example, the classic hero's journey. He doesn't even want to be a hero in the beginning. Same thing for her. She's got all these powers, from her father, but ultimately she didn't want his path in life. So, events conspire against her, and she ends up having to don the colors. And ultimately she embraces the life because she sees the good she could do. And the idea is, hopefully we'll have enough support to where we can continue the story. But ultimately the idea is like, it's not just becoming the hero. It's then the responsibility, like we learned with Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. So, we get her in the cape by the end of the story, and then what happens next? So,
you mean we don't get to see the boob window until the end?
Actually, no, that's exactly right. She's the entire story. She's in her practice suit. Oh, look at the cat in the.
Hey, kitty.
Charlotte.
He's awesome. one of those down cats.
It's one of those down cats. Hey, Clint, and I do it again too, Clint.
Unapologetic.
By the way, have you guys seen the boob window T-shirt that the Piper?
I love it. I'm gonna get one.
Oh my god, it's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I haven't seen them.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm imagining though it's just a T-shirt with the window on it. The cleavage.
So Peregrine, her costume is kind of, in a lot of ways she's a better version of like Power Girl and all this kind of stuff, and she's got the or falcon shaped boob window like right here. Well, the T-shirt is just like a T-shirt with that boob window and the cleavage.
I want it
like printed inside of it.
Nice.
To go back to kind of what we were saying before about making stuff and competing with the industry, I want to make books so good that the comic book industry is asking for me to join in, and I'll be like, no. Like I want to be really good on my own and do that. I mean, maybe I would take some jobs, but overall I'm just kind of like, I'm making my own thing over here and I'm having fun. I don't need your guys' shit, So yeah, it's kind of my goal. Once someone in the professional world's like, we want this, we want you, well, I'll be there.
Yeah. What's
Sorry.
that? Oh,
I've been drawing, so I figured I might as well.
Oh yeah, I'm ready to end the stream soon too. I promised it would be short, but that does look good, Eric. I dig it.
Yeah, it's cool.
That was not the question I'm looking at, but thanks for the comment. Here we go. Here it is. Sweetcast, how to let you know how to put my niece's name in your Downcast 2. Should I put the name on the contribution appearance in Indiegogo? That has become more of a problem than I anticipated that it would be. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to send out a survey through email, and you just put in your backer number or like a form, Google form or something, backer number, and then how you want your name listed in the book for those people that backed at that tier. And I think that will solve it. That'll make it nice and orderly rather than just shooting me an email because I'll forget. So I'll get that together and I'll send that out before I'll probably have to close the campaign before I do that, just so that we don't get more backers. But we'll get it figured out. I'll send something out. So
you could just close that one tier.
Yeah. You just hide the tier. Yeah,
that would do it.
Hide your tears, Clint.
I'll close that tier. That's a good one.
So okay, now you said
Was that David Bowie?
It was. Hide your tears, Clint.
I know you're trying to get out of here, Clint, but we haven't yet talked about the star of the show.
Me.
Oh,
the reason I came on tonight.
You were here to talk about lettering the whole time. Yeah, we need to do the rounds. But Eric, yes, tell us about Battle Brick Road.
So what you're seeing here is Scarecrow, one of the main characters from Battle Brick Road. We are launching May 8th. Battle Brick Road is the future dystopian war-torn retelling of The Wizard of Oz. We are taking the bones of the skeleton of Wizard of Oz and putting on a whole pile of new meat, a whole lot of ammo, and a lot of explosions. And we're really ready to kick your teeth in with it. This is a campaign that is going to bring a lot of testosterone to the Wizard of Oz. So we are launching May 8th. You can go to battlebrickroad.com right now and sign up early. If you sign up early and then back the campaign, you have to do both, but sign up early and back the campaign, you're going to get an exclusive print, unavailable anywhere else. The only people getting this print are the ones that have signed up on that email list. Even if you backed a previous campaign like Flying Fortress or Battle Damaged, you're not going to get that print. You have to sign up for the pre-campaign page. You'll get notified when the campaign goes live, but only if you're on that pre-campaign page do you get the print. There we go.
You drop in links for it? Do you have links for it yet?
Yeah, battlebrickroad.com.
Okay.
It's right there. See it under my name?
Well, I have to type it out.
I don't have a chat.
Brick.
So,
making everything difficult here.
.com. All right, I posted the link.
Thank you very much.
You bet.
I don't think it's clickable, but that's all right. It might be good. I can't. I'm just in StreamYard, so
it's all good.
So yes, Dorothy Gale on a mission to find her. She's on a mission to find her long lost father. She falls into the land of Oz and has to befriend a group of warrior outcasts in order to save the day, or become a victim of the Battle Brick Road herself.
Nice.
I assume that the in your story the lion, the Tin Man. Oh, I'm sorry, the Scarecrow. The Scarecrow is a Marine, I assume, right?
You would assume that means the Marines were around. We're not playing in that. He is a
Navy SEAL.
He's a native of Oz, so there aren't Marines in Oz. He was a former soldier.
What is the attribute that we're all getting at? When it comes to the Scarecrow.
What do you mean?
He has no brain.
No brain.
No,
he's a Marine.
It's not that he has no brain. He's not looking for a brain, but he is trying to forget his past. There is a mental thing there, but
you can't make jokes with other people's stories. That's the problem.
Oh, you're saying Marines?
No.
Okay.
I'm just saying Marines have no brains.
Okay. Harry, I'm trying to and you're trying to make fun. No. Just ask. We'll have to talk to Sierra Whiskey about that.
Hey man,
he's a Marine. All right, cool. Vaughn, what do you? Monster MD is still in demand. You're still.
It
climbing.
Sure is, man. We are in the final climactic battle of the book. Just coloring it now, and then we'll be done. And I'm finishing up the sketchbook, and it looks freaking awesome. A lot of people have seen the pages from it and have jumped on and bought it recently. If you already have backed the book but want a sketchbook, I can easily add one to your order without any extra shipping. Just drop me a message and tell me you want it. But yeah, man, we're kicking ass on that. And now, of course, I've written Lady Alchemy, and I'm really proud to work on that. It's an amazing project I really believe in, and it's got heart, soul, and all kinds of cool, beautiful visuals and awesome action and kind of more of a spiritual edge while still remaining just a fun comic. You know, that's what it's about. It's bringing that fun back to the people. It's been taken away by a bunch of little lectury activist clowns. So yeah, those are 2 things I'm working on now, and expect more in the future, guys. You can follow me on Twitter.
Is the author of Lady Alchemy? Oh, I'm sorry, I said the.
Oh, go ahead.
Is the author of Lady Alchemy the lady who had Chase discontinue her services?
Yes, she was. Her bank strangely shut her down. I don't know the story with that, but that is the same person, Martina Makova. Yeah. Imagine a bank.
Yeah, Martina.
Imagine a bank doing that to you.
I'm so glad, Vaughn, that when I heard that you got on that, I'm so glad to see her come out of the kind of the dark cloud that kind of got over her for a while. She's just somebody I thought has been just nothing but positive within Comicsgate, and she kind of faded out of Comicsgate for about 6 months there. So I'm glad to see her back and stronger than ever. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Think about it.
Recently,
the Menendez
she said,
brothers, Eric. Who are the 2 Menendez brothers? The Eric and whatever. They got out of jail, and Chase was like, "Go ahead, bank. Who cares? What do you mean?" But this girl, what was her sin? I don't understand.
I don't know. It's on the Gavin McInnes show or something.
She was a conservative in the arts. Was her sin?
Yeah, she was a reporter for Rebel Radio. I think Rebel Radio, Rebel Media.
Media.
And she's great. She's amazing. She had a great story idea. She was totally supportive of my contribution. She gets it. The type of thing I'm trying to do with the story. And she was, for a long time, she was in the background silently suffering and dealing with these artists who were taking her money and not turning in a product. So she was scared to go on Ethan's and promote. She was too busy dealing with the rigmarole that these artists were kind of, they were running on her. You could even call it a scam. And she, after paying thousands of dollars, she said, "All right, I'm moving on, and I want to do this book." She's put a lot of work and heart into this. And when I saw that, I responded to it and put my all into it also. So yeah, man, it's getting done. So good times.
Excellent.
Should be a great book. And then Charlie Snogans, of course, I'm glad to have him as a regular as well on this channel, because he's just a fantastic artist. We've been talking for quite a while. Charlie's great. He's a friend. And I don't know, I'm really stoked for our project. It's going to be great. Fatal. And we'll have more to show. And Eric's working on the logo for it too. We saw, the logo. We're getting everything together. So
that's cool.
We've got the logo coming. We've got the little promo video coming. Hopefully.
6 figures, young lady.
This is going to be good.
Yeah. I think my kids, they saw. I just showed a couple of drawings to Clint, and then he spun a beautiful tale out of it. And my kids, they've been watching the Toy Story stuff, and they saw. Do you guys know Forky?
Yeah.
Many of your kids.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knows Forky? Okay. So my kids, they've been saying, "Can we take a road trip? Can we take a road trip?" And I keep saying, "No, I have to work all the time. This is how it goes. We have to work." The deal is, we have to get, there's a certain number. I told the kids, Dad has got to make the comic book. If me and Clint sell a lot of the comic book, we're going to go on a road trip. Clint, I don't know if I even brought this up to you. I told the kids a number. I don't want to be ridiculous and say the number too loud. We're coming to your house if we hit the number. We're doing geography on the map. This is the United States. Here's New Jersey. It's horrible here. All in between this is all this wonderful country. We're going to see the whole thing. We're going to go to Utah.
I can't believe you would say such a thing about the land of Caesar.
Caesar might say it too.
Well,
right.
Yeah. Well, man, I'm right outside of Newark, and we're far enough away that it's still this New Jersey idea. If you go a little farther where Ethan is, that's Garden State. It is farmland and beaches and everything. Oh, you have
Philly, man.
A horrible friend too, right?
He's
Who's
my
there
best
to ruin
friend.
your day? Does he knock your shit off your table while you're trying to get things done?
No, he just lays there and sleeps, hangs out. He's a sweetheart.
Just
He
gets
doesn't like to
battery tied
knock
with you.
things over. He's very sensitive. He's very gentle. He's a gentle little guy, except for when he's killing bunnies. Yeah. Hey, Jasper. Say hey, Jasper.
Secret.
He killed a bunny?
He kills little baby bunnies. Yeah, I try to get him
Good
not
for
to,
him.
but he keeps that population in check, I guess.
Excellent. They are out of hand.
If he was large enough, he would kill you too.
He would. They're like little lions. Really.
Yeah, that's exactly right, man.
Look at
Yeah.
that. Sorry,
My
buddy.
son today made a comic book character called Tiger Man.
Tiger
And
Man.
I realized I'm not raising children. I'm training apprentices.
There
That's
you go.
all this is. This is all that's it. So, and they'll come to see you, Clint. If we get to a certain number, I don't want to be too, I said, we've got to get to this number to take a road trip.
Okay.
It's an obscene number.
Okay. We'll do our best. We'll do our best. No, I really think, honestly, when people see just all the pages and everything for this, I think we've got a good pitch for it. We're just kind of getting things together. I have to get Downcast finished, but when people see all the stuff that I have seen, I think it's going to be a home run. I think a lot of people are going to love it. So I'm really
How close to finish are you with Downcast?
So Downcast is let's see, I've got right now 32 pages that are complete with colors, and then we've got another, so I don't have the math, we have 14 pages left of line art, and Nacho's working really quickly now. So so 14 pages left of line art. The colors go really, really quickly. So we have our deadline, and then obviously I've got all the shipping and pre-press, and Eric already has half of it lettered. I've got some changes for him, but we've been proactive on that. So it's getting close. So I think probably around June is probably when we're looking to launch this new book. We'll launch it as soon as I fulfill. So I'm going to be shipping like crazy again once I get the book. So
Cool.
I'm excited. Looking forward to it. So
Excellent, sir. We will take it. What is this saying? All the boys that come to the yard because my milkshake is better than yours.
Yes.
That's right.
We've got a better milkshake than Marvel.
that's right.
That's right.
We're coming to take the whole thing. We're going to take
We
every
drink
page.
their
is gonna be better than
milkshake.
Yeah.
We drink it up.
You're going to-
I keep having this. I don't know what it is. This little battle cry in my head. Every page better than Marvel. Every page better than Marvel. Now,
That'll
listen,
pay off.
I'm not talking about Jack Kirby or anything, but whatever they're putting out now with their nonsense, the legacy is
adult
theirs.
shit.
They have dropped the ball on the legacy. Let's take it. It's ours.
Yeah. And make a new one for ourselves in the process.
Absolutely.
Yep.
You know, because the best people in art, in my opinion, whether it's music, comics, whatever, are the rebels. They're the ones who say, this isn't going the way we want it. We're going to do our own thing. And then amazing things come of it, you know?
Yeah.
100%, man. This is the most punk rock thing you could be a part of.
Yeah.
You're taking on Disney. You're taking on Disney.
I just love the
I'm
fact
okay
that
with
we've maneuvered the cultural liberals into defending big corporations.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
killed
That's funny.
me. What the first thing I did when I started my Twitter account and was like getting a lay of the land, like what's this Comicsgate business? What's going on here? It's just the weirdest thing seeing blue-haired activists that were defending Disney. You know, I was like, what is this?
Communist defending like the most
that's how I
capitalist
knew
regime ever.
We had already won at that point, you know?
Right. It's like, what happened? This is the strangest thing I've ever seen.
But then I found the irony that John Lydon, Johnny Rotten was a Trump supporter. So I was like, oh, well, that makes sense then.
Yeah. Oh, it's if you think about it, a whole generation of what are now like women in their 30s, 20s, 30s grew up on nothing but Disney.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's your reason for all the live action ones. They're like, hey guys, wink, wink, remember? And then all these 30 or something women are like, I am so going to that, and they make a lot of money off of it. So yeah, these blue-haired ones are the same. They grew up on Disney. It's their little safe space. It's where they it's where they're happy, and so they'll defend it to the bone, especially when it's touting their politics.
Right. They always have to add that in to every one of those Disney remakes too. I think let's wrap things up now. Appreciate everyone coming on the show. Charlie's empty chair is here as well. He'll be surprised when we've ended. But it was cool. If you didn't see this, your boy Zach was on right at the beginning. It was cool to talk to him for a little while. Appreciate everyone on the show. Thank you everyone that sent in super chats. That's excellent, great. And like I said, I will be getting all the details worked out with YouTube, but I'll have that ability for you to become a member of the channel. That'll be a great way if you want to support the channel, and it helps me to put more time into making videos when I get paid to do so. So it's helpful. Anyway, thanks everybody, appreciate it. And I think we're gonna plan on streaming again next week, same time next week. Thanks everyone, and goodbye.
See ya.
Later. Take care.
Later.